Season 2, Episode 4.
Yep.
It's been a while. We took a little summer hiatus, but we're back.
We're back.
How are you, sweetie?
I'm well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. This has been a hot summer,
Oh, God, yes. Scorching hot.
a busy summer,
Busy, yes.
and so that's one of the what we'll talk about today in Episode 4. We're going to talk about the journey of marriage.
Yeah, y'all, we've been busy. Now we need a vacation.
And then we need a vacation from the vacation.
Oh, gosh.
But busy is good. We've been doing things together.
Yeah.
We've been doing some things apart.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been doing some things with our children and in church.
Yes.
We just have been busy, and we've been saying, all right, we got to record. And you were like, all right, go set it up. And I don't go set it up.
He doesn't. He get on that couch, you get in that corner good.
And it's over.
It's over. And then he remembered. It's like, oh, we didn't record.
We didn't record. So we got to remember to record.
Yes, we do.
So that's why we're back. We're going to talk a little bit about the journey of marriage. You'll hear some sayings in here. We'll talk about some of the different seasons that you may go through or the time periods that you may go through in your marriage. As one of our guests said, we've recorded 2 guests, by the way. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put those into this podcast, and then we're going to move them to their own podcast. But we want to give you a peek. And one of the guests, our first guest, even on, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, he was doing a group text, and he was like, yeah, through it all.
Yes.
He's a clown.
It's always through it all.
It's always through it all with him. So I need him to stop. But we're gonna post some of those. I'm excited about that. We've started that journey with the couples conversations.
Yeah, a couple conversations.
So we have 2 of those recorded, and I just got to edit them and get them out. And then we'll move that over, like I said, to its own. And we'll continue here, and then we'll continue to bring on more guests. We've got some lined up. We've had some yeses. We've had some no's. We've had some, I'm going to get back to you, and I ain't heard back from them yet. So we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah, it's not bad. You all, when you come on the show, you don't have to tell all your business. That's not what it's about. We want you to encourage other couples, and that's what it's about. So yeah,
move forward and do some things with couples. So this is what this is all about. So as we dive into this topic, one of the sayings you hear about a lot of different things, and it includes marriage, is this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
We had last year were there Olympics? I think last year was Olympics. Maybe it was last year. And everyone always watches the sprints. They're in the beginning. They keep the crowd in. People want to see how fast.
The fastest person.
Fastest person in the world. Yeah. Men's, women. You got the relay races, and people love seeing that. And you start to see the crowds trickle down when you have the longer races. And those require a different level of endurance. And I look at those athletes, and they're shaped different.
They are.
They train different. Mm-hmm. They have different goals. And the ultimate goal of those endurance races, those marathons especially, they start those real early, is to finish first or finish at all. Yeah,
they're prepping like all year round to prepare for that. So it's not like they get up tomorrow like, hey, let me get out here and start, stretching, running. They're preparing all year long. And that's the way, is in marriage. We're preparing for this long haul, and we want it to last forever, to death do us part.
They do warm-up races. They do the 5Ks, the 10Ks to get ready for that longer stretch. And I think about the seasons of marriage and how each one prepares you for the longer race, and how you finish that season gives you more, what I call equipment, ammunition. It gives you something to look back on to prepare or to continue in the race. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You may stumble, you may falter, you may get tired. I can imagine. I have not ran a marathon. I have no desire to run a marathon, but I've run some races, some sprints mostly, and things like that.
I don't run.
No, you watch and cheer.
Yes.
And sip on your whatever you're sipping on at the moment. But it is some days you don't have it. when you train. Some days you don't have it when you run. Some days you don't have it in marriage.
Mm-hmm. But you have to persevere.
Yes, you do. You have to press through, persevere,
Yes.
all those
All
things
those things.
to continue in the race.
That's right.
Unlike a marathon, you know, you talked about till death do us part. Of marriage isn't supposed to. There's not a finish line. You know, the finish line is the joy that you have each and every day with each other. You know, you hear people talk about, I want to grow old together. And that's the finish line, is having each other until death do you part.
Yeah.
So that's the race that we're running. So a couple things we can touch on when we talk about this, because those are catchphrases. But what are some realistic things that can help you endure this marathon of a race? And I'm so thankful that we still have each other over these 22 years. And I say that because I think back on some of the stories that we've heard over the last year or two. I remember distinctly, and I don't mean this to be a sad moment, but I am grateful, and I try to live grateful and thankful for my spouse. But I remember the couple in South Carolina on their wedding day, the bride was killed through an unfortunate accident.
Yes.
I think back to a situation we had, I don't know, 4 or 5 Christmases ago, where you fell ill, and it could have went a different way. It was that close to going a different way. And so I have perspective on the time that we have and try to live it to the fullest. Mm-hmm. And, you know, story after story, I think about one of my childhood friends, his mother, you know, passed away. And so I don't take it for granted that we have each other until death do us part.
Right.
So some of the practical things. So what can you think about when you begin this journey, or you're in this journey of a marriage? Because I think about in the beginning, you come out the block. I mean, it's a sprint in the beginning, and usually it's a sprint. It's a couple different things with the sprint.
I don't think you come out the block. I just think you start after the marriage, day one, you know, you're on your honeymoon, you come back, then that's when life starts. I don't think it's like, oh God, now we're married. Boom, what we do now.
Well, I think when I say that, I'm talking about the honeymoon phase. So you're feeling things out, but you're really just enamored with each other. Your mind is, well, my mind, a lot of guys' mind is, listen, especially if you haven't had relationships before marriage and you chose to wait, or you didn't, whatever that case is. Most guys are like, man, how much can I get it in? Yeah, we'll eat and I'll go to work, but I'm coming home. I'm trying to figure out this thing. I've got access, and I want it now. I want it all the time. Especially the honeymoon. I mean, I always joke you when we got married, the marriage night, you were trying to go to sleep.
Dog tired, exhausted. Marriage, wedding day, it's exhausting.
And I was tired too. You weren't the only one. But I said, listen,
Ooh.
We have to make sure this thing is official. You know what I mean? So I was like, no, my sister, you got to wake up.
Oh gosh.
You got to wake up. But anyway, that's comical. It's not, but it is. But that's what I'm talking about. I think those first 3-6 months, if you didn't live together, you're joining, you're taking 2, you're becoming 1, you're moving household items. She's probably throwing away a lot of your stuff because it was for the bachelor pad. This don't go.
Yep. He was bringing that stuff in. Told him no.
That old couch. No.
Yep, no.
That this, that. Mm-hmm. So, and you're working on compromising. Like, why is she getting rid of my stuff like this off the gate? Mm-hmm. So to me, that's that sprint. That's that first year.
Coming in with the new.
Yeah, just throw everything away. I'm like, oh. But that first year is really what I call that sprint. You're really trying to figure out your lane. You're trying to figure out each other. Now you're under one roof together. Your intricacies, your behaviors, your likes, dislikes,
right.
Your quirks. You're trying to figure those things out. What was surprising in your first year when we said I do?
What was surprising?
Yeah, anything about me you're like, yeah, we're going to have to work on this. Or, yeah, I like this.
No, it wasn't anything, surprising. It wasn't anything that, oh God, you need to put the toilet seat down, or oh God, don't leave the top off this, that, and the third. I think maybe you're not a junkie type person. I think every now and then you probably will leave something down, but it wasn't like a all the time occurrence. So it wasn't like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna have to keep reminding him to do this, that, and the third. So it really wasn't any. I think it was more so when the children came. But other than that, no, it was nothing like, oh God, like what have I done?
I'm thinking of someone that we went by and checked out their house. They moved in, they did some renovations to a home, and we went by, and they're newlyweds, and one of them was there, and she was talking about some things, and it was funny. I started thinking about, I'm not going to talk about what she said, but it made me remember our stuff. Like, was there something, and I know it's 22 years ago, was there some stuff in the beginning you were like, oh God, here we go? And again, I think it probably was. I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember. I really don't.
I don't even think about, I think about the first, because I'm trying to break this down like a race, the first 1 to 5 years.
Is it like the first leg of a race, like the second leg, of a race?
I think so, because there's strategy, there's things that happen in that first set of time that you are working through. Am I going to have to deal with this the entire time, or is this something I can change my stride, change my pace, do this? Even if we can't think of something personally, I would say in any marriage that there's going to be a filling out period. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's, to me, is coming out the block after all the physical and all that stuff. When you go back to work and you're figuring that out and you have different schedules, that's that filling out period, mm-hmm. The cooking, the cleaning.
Right. I think we kind of figured that out, especially when we got married and, you're working, I'm working, whoever got home first, we was like, listen, whoever gets home first gonna have to start cooking. Can't wait for me to get home to cook. So, that's something we came together on. So that's some of the things you have to do. Like, okay, let's sit down, make plans. So you definitely need to make plans, schedule things like, okay, who's going to do this, that, and third. So yeah, we did do that. Like, hey, babe, I'm going to put this in the crock pot, or you like, hey, I'm going to make hibachi, whatever. We schedule that. So that kind of helped.
When the last time we used a crock pot?
We haven't.
Do we even have a crock pot anymore?
We still have a crock pot. We use the Instapot a lot.
I wonder how many people out there using crock pots. Y'all put in the comments if you're using a crock pot.
Yeah.
I used that a lot when I was single because I could cook while I was gone and had enough for the next day. So mm-hmm. That crock pot was good. Is that an old school thing, crock pot?
I guess so, but you still can use it because, hey, it helped us. Like, shoot, both of us working 9 to 5 and trying to race home and try to cook and
Yeah. So that's to me, is that coming out the block is those conversations about life. How does it look? And it may not go according to plan, but at least you have a framework. To me.
Right.
You have a framework of what this thing looks like. What are your likes, dislikes? Hopefully you discussed that before. But again, when you come together, it is different than mm-hmm. what the discussion was. Because you could say one thing in theory, this is what I like, and then you just don't do it. Right. Or you realize this is what, like, hey, we got to switch sides of the bed because you get up too much, or blah, blah, whatever.
We did that when I was pregnant, y'all, because he slept closer to the bathroom. And so when I got pregnant, I would always wake him up. I was just waking him just in case I was not back in bed, So he was like, okay, let me go check on her. She's been gone long enough. So I would wake him up like, babe, I'm going to the bathroom. So he's like, just switch sides.
Yeah, switch sides so you just go right to the bathroom. And that didn't work because she would wake me up. Hey, I'm going to the bathroom.
Right. I just wanted to make sure.
So my plan,
check on me if something happened.
Yeah, my plan failed. It failed. And I remember that makes me think about something when I discovered, I think I have an allergy to shellfish. It was a funny incident that I woke you up. I was like, hey, baby, something's wrong. He was like, what is it? I was like, not that.
I didn't even think that.
Yes,
no, it was
I was
not
telling
that.
you.
I was telling you where it was. Where I keep all the medicine.
Yeah, but I was
like,
frantic.
It's in there. Y'all know, men and children do not look for things, right?
Don't compare me to a kid.
I'm just saying, It's always the men and the children. Can't find it when they're looking for it. Like the old saying, if it was a snake, it would have bit you. So he woke me up to find the Benadryl, got up and found the Benadryl for him.
I don't even think you got up. You just
I
said
did get up.
You was like, it's over there. It's in the cabinet. You didn't get up.
Yes, I did.
I don't remember you getting up.
I
That's
did.
not
I
how
got
tell
up.
the story.
I know. That's not how you tell the story. It's not the truth.
That's not how I remember. I'm not out here lying. I don't remember it that way. To my recollection,
Okay.
you didn't get up. But anyway, you were like, it's over there. I drunk the Benadryl because I looked like Hitch when I went into the mirror. And the next morning, I just sat on the couch the entire morning, and you didn't wake up. Next morning, you woke up and was like, why didn't you come back to bed? I was like, yeah, I didn't want to wake up dead. So
I woke up and I saw you. You were swollen.
yeah, but it was bad. But anyway, those are things you work out in the beginning or throughout your marriage. One thing I would encourage in that first leg, that sprint, is celebrating small victories. I think that's important to establish a baseline for your marriage, is celebrating each other, whether it's, hey, I completed a project at work.
Absolutely.
Got a promotion, or, whatever that victory is. It doesn't have to be work related. It could be anything. Hey, you picked up after yourself. Mm-hmm. Oh, you started the laundry.
Yes.
Let me celebrate you.
You wash some dishes.
Men like rewards. If we get rewarded, it helps us continue that behavior. So to the ladies out there, celebrate those victories, and you'll see them continue. That's just a hint to help you out. So, that's one thing I would say is you celebrate.
Yep. The small victories, big victories, celebrate. Focus on our journey.
Yeah. Focus on your journey.
I think a lot of things we do spend a lot of time and get away together. And I think that is much, much needed, because you're getting away from the everyday hustle and bustle, work. You just need that time to reset sometimes, sit down and clear your mind, and just the two of you.
Yeah. And as we talk about stages, right, I'm focusing on those first 1 to 5. I would say talk about the long term, even in those first 1 to 5 years, 1 to 3 years, 6 months. Talk about, what does this look like for you? Where do you think we'll be in 5 years? Where do you want us to be in 10 years? And hit different areas of where you want us to be. Where do you want us to be spiritually? Where do you want us to be with children? And hopefully you've talked about that, because, you may have talked about it in the beginning, any of these topics I'll list out. But it may have been
something could change. During them first 5, whatever years, you can have something like, I don't know if I want to do this or not.
That's right. And so readjust that plan. I would say, talk about those things in your everyday life, in your everyday conversations, so that you can assess the change. Hey, baby, my thinking has changed on this. It's evolved on this subject. And I think establishing those conversations and that communication chain is essential in those that first stage of marriage, is that channel of communication, setting aside time.
It's important.
What are some things we can do together? We're reading a book together, or blah, blah, whatever that looks like. How do we want a vacation? How do we want to set time apart for each other in the midst of the hustle and bustle? I think is very important.
It is, because you talk about change. We change as we are growing older. We're changing, our body's changing. There's a lot that's changing, and so there's discussions to talk about, like, hey, what is this going to look like?
That's right. And even in the first 1 to 5, whatever that looks like, I would say talk about the pace. We don't have to have everything done. Right.
You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have it all together.
It's like when you move into a home or an apartment, whatever that looks like. You don't have to do everything right away. It takes time. You may have the vision of what that looks like, and then you, like a contractor, you say, hey, this is stage 1, this is stage 2, this is stage 3.
Right.
But I think whatever stage, the foundation is the most important thing, and that foundation is that dating period, and then that early on marriage period, to where you have a firm foundation to stand on, so that whenever life hits you, trials hit you, mundane hits you, the routine hits you, you can shake loose of it, and you're not swayed.
Right. I think about that the scripture in the Bible, building your church. You want to build it on that solid ground. You don't want it to be stony. You don't want it to be shaky. You want it to be solid.
That's right. That's right. There's wisdom in that book, and it applies to different areas of your life. We touched on in the beginning. We talked a little bit about just us being so busy, and I won't hit any particular thing, but I'll just talk about in general what we're in the midst of, how we are navigating it. So we've gone from no kids in the house to kid back in the house. We've gone through one kid that was in college coming back home for the summer and just wrecking the house. We've gone with having our more grandchildren now and having them here and wrecking the house, to you're now going into an office more often, which causes change. And we're doing things outside of the home a little bit more, you know, with the ministry at our church. We're doing some things, and we're just we've gotten to another busy season, which is why it took us so long to get back in front of this microphone. But one thing we still do, I think, and we probably have to continue doing better of it, is spending time with each other. And it's not what I would call formalized.
Right.
It is here and there. It's, hey, run to the store. Can you come with me? It's, let's sit down and watch this before you fall asleep, even though you may not make it through the whole thing.
He never makes it through, y'all.
Yeah, I don't make it through. But to me, that's a part of the focus on the journey.
Yeah.
You know, it's making sure that whatever happens, and this is 1 to 5, this is 5 to 10, this is 10 to 20, this is 30, is continue to focus on the journey. And to me, the journey is, living life, being thankful for every day that I have, but also being thankful for the one that I'm doing life with. And if I make sure that my focus, number one, you know, of course, is on God, but number two is on my spouse, before my children, before my parents. That focus helps us even when we're in a routine.
Yeah. I was going to say the most important thing is Christ in our life. We're both saved. We're in the church. And so we really base our principle on the Bible. And you know what God says about marriage. God created marriage, and it's a beautiful thing, and he wants it to last. And so that's first and foremost, you know, in our lives, is putting him first in our marriage.
Yeah, I was looking at something yesterday or the day before, and I won't get it all right, so I won't try to quote the stats, but it was saying it was giving the percent of married people, and this one just happened to break it down by race, and it talked about the different cultures and how the percent of married people, and I think there was a culture that was 70% marriage, and then the next one below that was, I don't know, 63%, and it kept going down. And I think about, and again, this is just what the thing was, I think about in the African American community, you know, it was like 34%, and it was projected to go down. And the baseline for this was talking about building family wealth, and how even the Bible talks about two are better than one, and how having parents or married couples, they're able to build together because of that 2 income families. And then it talked about, hey, how you see these stats, and how in certain communities you can see wealth being transferred and built because of having that strong marital value. And then for those that have kids, it talked about the value of kids having the married parents, and how they do well because of those. Not to say, okay, and this isn't saying that single parent households, kids don't do well. That's definitely not the case. But it was focused on marriage and how important it is, lasting marriages. And I even think about what's going on right now with that video that surfaced.
Yeah,
and
it's unfortunate.
And people, which I like, I don't like that happened, of course, but people are not focused on them anymore. They're focused on the people behind them. So the children of the gentleman.
Yeah, they're concerned about their children, which it should be, you know, because you're out here, you're making fun, and you got to think about both sides have children, and you're putting this out there, and they're all these young people now are on some kind of social media. So you know, you think about the family, how that's destroying a family.
It is, and that's another part of this marathon is if you have children, however you have them, adoption, natural, whatever that looks like, is this marathon includes them. And so you're going to go through a season, and where that the baton is the children are part of that next race, right? That second phase. If you only focus on that baton, those children, at some point, we all hope that they're
going to leave.
Yeah, they get their own baton and they go their way. And if for the however long that is, if you have one kid or two or three, you take that times 18. So if you have 4 children, let's say you have 4 children and they're staggered 3 or 4 years apart. I shouldn't have said that because now I got to try to do math. Let's just say they stay until they're 20, right? That could be a 30-year time span that you have children in your home during your marriage. It could be a 20-year time span. And if that baton only was centered around those children, when they leave, you may have lost connection with your spouse by not keeping them the focus, right? We talk the focus of the journey, and at some point they leave, and so you want to make sure that you still have that connection between you two. And yeah, there's a period of time where the kids got to be the focus, and you find time for each other. So that's another part of the marathon and that your focus changes.
Yeah, it does. Also, part is there's no quick fix to this. Like, there's no, like, if something were to happen, disagreements, whatever happens, there's no quick fix to none of it. You just got to work at it. Whether, if you're having issues, go to counseling, talk to someone, get sound counseling. Just don't talk to any and everybody about what's going on in your marriage, because everyone does not have your best interests. So, just think about that. There's no quick fix in this.
No, it's not. It's not like a leak. It's it can be a small drip, and sometimes it takes different remedies to fix that. So I like that. Keep that in mind. No matter in the beginning, the middle, the end, there's no quick fixes. And the last part I'll touch on is kind of the patience and the understanding of this journey. We know from personal experiences that we have evolved, and you mentioned that earlier. We've evolved in our life, and we've evolved in our character and how we are. And so you have to have patience as your spouse is going through a change, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, whatever that looks like. You have to have the patience and understanding. And I always say, look to what's the goal? And the goal is, let's finish this race together.
Let's finish together.
So having patience with them. Now you can nudge them. You nudge them along. If they get stuck in a mindset, in a rut, what I would call a hyper vigilant state or hyper state, you can try to help steer them a little bit. Encourage, gentle nudging, small reminders, celebrate them when they break out of that. I'm in one now where my mind is racing all the time. Yes. And it is in a constant race. And I was talking to my daughter 2 days ago, and she mentioned some things that we've accomplished recently. And I said, it didn't register me then. It registered me, and as I was driving away, I called her back. And I said, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. And I said, because I haven't looked outside. I can't see the forest through the trees right now. I'm just looking at each tree. And she said, Dad, you're doing some things. There's people that wouldn't want to be in your position that you're in today. And I appreciate her saying that, because it gave me a time just to reflect and say thank you, right? Say thank you to God for what he's allowed us to do, even in this season, what he's allowing us to be a part of. And so I would say that too, that patience and understanding, that celebrating, and sometimes taking a step back to appreciate each other, appreciate the journey, appreciate your village.
Let your spouse know, how you appreciate them. It doesn't have to be anything special, a special occasion. Every now and again, I tell my husband, I appreciate you. I'm proud of you for the things that you have accomplished and the things that you are doing and the things that you will do. And, I speak life into him, because he's my better half. And, he makes me better and I make him better, and I'm here to encourage him. And so there's times when he gets down, but I got to be the one to pick him up. And so always encourage your partner, even though you may not feel like it, but encourage and speak life into them because it will definitely help them along the way.
That's the first time I think I've ever heard you say I'm the better half. I've never. I always say you the better half, but that's the first time I've ever heard that. Remember, write that down.
Oh
we got
my gosh.
this. We got this
to
recorded.
Stop.
You
need to stop.
That's gonna be on the loop. He's my better half. He's my better half. Never. How many men you get to hear you the better half? Usually it's.
Oh Jesus!
You know, I talked to a guy. A guy. He doesn't work with me here, but he works. And he's married. And he's talking about, yeah, we married up. Yeah, I know I married up. I married out of my range. And I say that. You know, I say that too. But man, I feel good. I'm the better half. Usually.
I say you're my better half. I'm your better half. That's what I said.
See, I only got to enjoy that for a minute. That didn't last long. Yes, you are my better half, baby.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. It gave me a smile today. That's going to be my focus for this next. I got the baton, y'all. I ain't letting it go. Hey, you got to take it when you get it.
Oh, gosh.
Nah, she don't. I'm so fortunate that you don't tear me down. Even in this thing we're doing this book club, and and we were talking, the guys were talking, and I won't share anything outside of too much of that, but I was able to say something. The guys looked at me and was like, "Oh man, that's you blessed, brother." I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm fortunate that my wife has this mindset and this particular mindset." And I was so you don't know what you have, and I tell people that in your race, in your marathon, in your marriage, don't look at the next lane, don't look at the person in front of you, behind you. Look at your person, look at your spouse, because this is what you have, and you build that person up because that person in turn builds you up. And you don't build it to get. It's not that you do it to get something in return. You do it because you love that person and you want to see them the best version, and you're part of making them that best version.
That's right. I learned that from my mom because, growing up, I heard some things and saw some things, and, she never... Whatever went on between her and my dad, I never heard her put him down. My dad wasn't saved all his life, but she spoke life, and she never tore him down, and she built him up. And so, they're looking at your example. So you got to be that example.
And this is your person. It's
this
your
spouse. Your person, your spouse.
Why would you want to tear
right? If you're tearing your spouse down, you're tearing yourself down.
You're tearing yourself down. This
That's right.
This is y'all two became one. I don't want to hurt myself, and so in turn, I don't want to hurt her, intentionally or unintentionally. And if I do, and I make it right. And that's a part of the journey too. Is you're going to make mistakes.
Yes,
you're going to mess up, intentionally, unintentionally. Get it right.
Get it right.
Get it right.
I know. In the beginning, I was real stubborn, as far as apologizing and asking for forgiveness, but that comes with maturity. And I don't have a problem saying that. It comes with maturity. And I'm glad that I'm at this stage in my life that I can say, you know what, I apologize. I was wrong. And it's easier to come out now than before. I'd be like, I'm not apologizing. I'm not doing this and that.
I was like, I thought women were supposed to be the soft one.
He did.
I gotta apologize first, but that's a part of being the head of being the man in a relationship. Sometimes you've got to sacrifice and do those things. But I used to tell them, like, I thought women supposed not that she's not hard, but when she dug in, I was like, dang, man, I always got to do the one. I wanted an apology too, so I can record it and use it and play it back. That's probably why I didn't get it. It is an agenda behind it. But anyway, we hope, as we get back to this regularity of putting out some content, we hope that you got something from this. We want you to know that, we're 22 years in. We dated for on and off for 7. We've known each other, 40 years, and we're still continuing to learn each other, push each other, pull each other, celebrate each other, get mad at each other, apologize to each other, and run this race together. So you know, it's almost like a pace. I think about a race, and you have those folks that pace.
Yes.
And what they do is by pacing, they take the wind off of that person behind them, and they make it easier. You can think about that in racing. You can think about that in driving. You can think about that person. You get into their, I forget what it's called, draft. That's what it's called. So you get into their draft, and it makes your run a little easier. So if you can draft, sometimes you're drafting off each other. Sometimes you're in the front and you're taking the wind and helping the person, your spouse, and sometimes your spouse is in front of you and they're making the race a little easier for you. But at the end of the day, you're doing that for each other. So
Right.
I'm thankful for being in this marathon and sometimes we sprint, sometimes we jog, sometimes we take a break. But I'm thankful, and I hope that you're thankful for your spouse. And if you're not, find that appreciation for them. Find the things that helped you fall in love with them,
That's right.
want to marry them, want to say yes, or want to ask them to marry you, whatever that looks like. And then focus on those things, and then realize that, hey, you're building together, whatever that looks like.
That's right. Remember, this is a marathon.
Not a sprint. So until next time, if you don't follow us, please do share, like, subscribe, give it out to friends, give it out to colleagues, and we look forward to hearing back from you. And then again, we're going to push out 2 episodes either after this one or after the next one. We're going to give out two episodes from our couples conversations. They were fun, they were funny, they were intriguing. They got deep. They shared, both couples shared some things, and we won't give you too much, but both of these couples are on their second marriage. There's a reason that they're on their second marriage, and it's a reason why this one is working. And so look forward to getting them out there. And until next time, baby, you got any closing comments?
Nope.
Well, good seeing you.
You too.
Looking good in your season. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take care.